Welcome back. You're watching Storyboard. Axis Bank is launching their Dil Se Open campaign with a new refreshed thought. To tell us more about it, we are joined in by Anoop Manohar, CMO, Axis Bank. Anoop, welcome to CNBC TV18.
Thank you, Shibani. It's a pleasure to be here.
Anoop, first of all, tell us about your thoughts and insights behind the 2022 Dil Se Open campaign.
Right. So, Shibani, our bank, as you know, is on a transformational journey. We started this journey sometime in 2019, 2020. And at that time, one of the questions we asked ourselves is, who are we, right? And we had a lot of discussions internally. And what came out of those discussions was the fact that our employees, we found out, had routinely gone above and beyond what was their duty to help service our customers. And from that was born the idea of Dil Se Open, which is our identity. So we did a campaign back there in 2020. Now, over the course of the journey that we've been having last year, we then again looked at ourselves and asked this question, saying, okay, so we are Dil Se Open, that's our identity, but what does that mean for the customer? And it led us to existential questions like, why do we exist, right? Why does Axis Bank exist? And we had thoughts around, what happens when a bank opens a branch in a rural location? Right? Banks, as you know, the primary job for us is to lend, right? And what happens as a consequence of us lending is that the economy tends to grow. Now, when that happens, then the other question we had to ask ourselves is, okay, how is Axis different from any of our peer banks, right, who do the same thing? And that's when you realize that if you take our DNA of being open and you fuse it with the fact that we bring financial power to the consumers in that region, we create something unique. And we define that as our shared purpose, which is creating lasting value for our customers by helping them achieve their dreams, right? So it's our openness that comes in, it's our financial resources that we bring, and it's also the drive that the customer brings.
Yeah.
So essentially, the insight behind what we wanted to do, especially in the banking and financial services industry, where customers are really sometimes talked down to, is the fact that we wanted to play to our strength. And the core insight is that true customer delight in this industry can only be delivered by humans.
Okay. And if you can also share or throw in some light on how has marketing a bank really changed in the past 2 years? Because since you mentioned the first time you launched Dil Se Open was prior to the pandemic.
So you're right, Shivani, a lot of things have changed in the past 2 years, especially because of, like you said, digitization, and on the other side, social media, right? So with the pandemic, the consumers have actually changed how they behave. So let me split my answer into two parts. So first, how has marketing changed? I think fundamentally marketing used to be, and in our country still remains, what I call a one-to-many conversation, where we as banks or like large companies speak to customers and they listen. But what's happened with the shift in digitization and social media is that now consumers have more power in the conversation. Conversations are no longer one-to-many, they're actually many-to-many. So the trick for a marketer is to be part of the conversation, even though you're not in that room. And especially in the financial services or any service industry, word of mouth is a very strong driver of choice. So as marketers, we now need to be focused on building communities rather than landing messages or campaigns. And that's one of the endeavors that we are trying to do with this. It's not just a TV campaign, but we follow it up as a long-term conversation. Secondly, like you said, banking, BFSI, is probably one of the most disrupted industries by technology today, right? If you look at it in India or globally. And like you said, India, the pace at which it's getting disrupted is much, much faster. So as a bank, we obviously have to think about the here and now, and we also have to think about tomorrow. And one of the things that we have had conversations in internally is that while banks might not exist in the future, banking still will. And we need to start looking at who are our competitors in a very different light. So it's not just our pure banks, but it's also guys who are in the technology space. Even if you look at spends, before what BFSI used to spend, today fintech companies spend as much. So the amount of noise has gone up significantly. So as a marketer in a bank, what I do have to do, or what all of us have to do in the bank, is to leverage the different touch points that we have. So we have to now think about, previously we would think about physical availability and mental availability. Physical being our branches, our ATMs, a call center. And mental availability is what you do with a normal marketing campaign, right? So you try and build recall awareness. But there's also now digital availability. And the trick is to manage physical, mental, and digital availability and almost like triangulate it for every customer. And I think that's how marketing has changed. So again, I'd like to reiterate that this is not just a TV campaign. TV is part of the campaign, but we have to do it digitally as well.
Yeah. So I'm, taking away two crucial things from whatever you just mentioned right now. One is that consumer has more power in the conversation, in the communication, and you are looking at who is your competition in a new and a different light in the past 2 years. Having said that, what are some of the key challenges faced by your consumers, and what are the solutions that they are looking for that you're willing to provide to these consumers?
Digital is real, right? And it's affecting our consumers' lives in a lot of ways. So previously, there used to be that security of a transaction when you walk into a branch, you sign a paper. A lot of those things are now going online, right? And one of the responsibilities of our organization is to actually then educate the customers on what safe banking looks like. What are the things that you should and should not do? So that's one big focus area for us. We've done a couple of campaigns in the past on safe banking. And what we try to do is partner with enforcement agencies. So we've done one with Mumbai Police. Last year, we did one with Gujarat Police. So the idea is to use the guys who enforce law in the country as partners when you do this, because this is not something that just we need to do. Our entire industry needs to do it, and as many people as we can partner is going to make the message more and more clearer. So I think that's one big thing. The second thing is, as we go deeper into Bharat, as we talked about earlier, how do you practice financial inclusion, right? It's not just about trying to sell a product, but also trying to educate them about what's available out there. What are the things they should do? What are the things that they shouldn't? What are the right financial practices? And this is not necessarily restricted just to Bharat. It's as a bank, we sell to the entire spectrum, right? So starting from somebody who's just got their first salary to people who have retired. So our job is to educate consumers on both financial literacy and also digital literacy in the context of what we do as a business. That's probably what I think are the two important things for us to do, Shivani.
Anoop, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks for sharing these insights with us.
Thank you, Shivani. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
And now, before we go, we have an announcement to make. For over 2 decades as a TV show, Storyboard has championed and chronicled the business of brands, the rise of Indian advertising, and a flourishing brand marketing ecosystem. Today, we are building on that legacy and taking Storyboard to the next level as a destination for modern marketers building legendary brands. Storyboard 18 has a new home on India's largest business news portal, Money Control. To celebrate this moment, we embark on the next leg of our journey. We have kicked off a special community campaign. Whether it's art, copy, a meme, or even a video, pick your medium and become a part of Storyboard 18's community campaign, and the best ideas will be featured and profiled on our platforms Money Control, CNBC-TV18 and Forbes India. So do send in your entries today. With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.